There we go. I got to do that. Hi, guys. It's me and Amber, Joel and Amber, and we're here live from the house for our Christmas special. We're going to wait for a couple of people to hop in here, and then we're going to get going. One person, and it's Sheila, of course. She's the winner every week.
Hi, Sheila.
So we got one person. A couple people were ready for this. So just remember, we got to scroll this. David's here.
Hi, David.
Hello, Sheila and Gray. You can look at your notes here or there, whichever one you want.
Awesome.
Oh.
Ricky Lynn. Hi, Ricky.
Oh, all right. So today, guys, we are going to discuss the true meanings of Christmas, okay? So a lot of people are under the impression that Christmas is a certain day of the year where we celebrate the Lord's birth. But unfortunately, Christmas has meaning or origins predating the birth of Jesus. And in fact, we're going to get into a lot more about that. So,
Christian.
Let's kick it off. You want to start, Boo?
Yes. So I figured since, we got a lot going on this year and, we've been talking a lot about, that code word, dark winter. I figured what better people to go for the cold winter than the Norse people. Norse people, they went through very harsh winters. They had to go through all year of getting their supplies ready, getting their woods ready, getting everything ready for the very harsh, cold winters. And so I just feel like they were the best people to pick for this. We have lots of ancestors through the Norse and Celtic, actually. So I figured that's who we were going to pick. That's who we're going to go with for this nice, dark winter. For thousands of years, our European ancestors, they did not celebrate Christmas. Their ways of celebrating were totally different from the Christian era of Christmas, which was actually called Yule. So Yule was with Norse people. They were they had to endure a lot of harsh cold, so they literally depend on the sun. So with the sun, that's what they had, the sun wheel that they burned every winter solstice, which, mind you guys, today is the winter solstice. So the sun is what they worshipped a lot. So that's what they did for the Yule.
Yeah, so in the Norse, they have 3 months of summer and then 8 months of winter, and or 9 months of winter, I'm sorry, with my math, but they have 9 months of winter, so the sun is very, very important to Norse people. In fact, I actually heard somebody that believes in Norse paganism, modern-day Norse paganism. They said that threatening a person from the Norse that endures cold 9 months a year with hell would be like sending them on a vacation.
Right.
If you want, and actually, if you look at hell, they actually use the same word, hell. It's the name of a goddess in Norse mythology. Her abode is freezing cold and dark. It's not hot.
Totally opposite.
And so what they say is all the Middle Eastern religions like Islam, Hebrew, and Christianity all believe in hell because it's hot there. And so something cold and comforting like air conditioning, that'd be nice, right? So Christians, when you go to heaven, you have your mansion with air conditioning in the windows.
Right.
But in Norse mythology, something sunny and warm would be ideal for them. So that's heaven to them. Yeah. The sun's very important. They deal with, today is, by the way, the winter solstice is the longest night of the year. So it's the shortest amount of day, the longest amount of night. But so what they believed was that after today, the sun is out longer. So that's where the year flips. So everybody, thank you. Colleen just said we look stunning. Look, I got suspenders on.
Thank you.
So, all right.
So, the sun is important to the Northern Europeans because without the sun, the winters were long and dark. The sun is life. Without the sun, Northern European people would die. We are ice people. Fire was almost important, the most important to the survival of our ancestors. So they literally needed the sun. They needed to be able to have that. So what we're doing is mainly we're going to get into Christmas first because we're going to get into that tradition with Christmas. It's always been a very, very touchy subject.
Right.
We've always had some real issues with this because a lot of people they don't like hearing the truth of Christmas. And I'm going to remind you, we're here just to tell you the origins, what happened and how these took place. We're not by any means telling you how you should support your Christmas or your Yule or whatever. We celebrate it as Yule. Like tonight when we get off here, we're going to be going and burning our sun wheel and spending some time with our kids, watching a movie, drinking some cocoa, eggnog. We actually have some cookies here for us to eat here because I love food, so I'm pretty sure everybody else does.
Me too.
So first we'll get on to the Christian belief with Christmas. We'll do a quick run through of that, and then we'll go into how it's I don't want to say how it became into Yule because it was already Yule. So I'll let you want to go ahead.
No, you can start. I got to look up what you asked me earlier anyways. I forgot to.
Christmas is based on a distorted truth. Christians were to unite Europeans with one God. It was violent. The church, when I say church, actually Christians, it was more, you always hear people say Christians when they're talking about this subject, but it was actually Catholics who went through with this. So what it was is Norse people, they had their traditions. They did the sun wheel. They had special food that they made. They had get-togethers. It was nothing like what you've heard, like just the terrible things that you've heard about Norse people and how they celebrated. It was nothing like that. But the Catholics came through and they decided, you know what, we're going to take this over. So it was like a bloody, brutal battle with the Europeans, with the Norse people. And so they would take over this holiday, which they called it Holy Day when they took it over, which was funny because you had people who were saying this was pagan and it was evil, and then they would go and, you know, brutally take this holiday from, you know, the Norse people and then go and use those same traditions and then say, well, this is how God wanted it. So this was how it was going to be. And then Pope Julius came along and said, okay, so I'm going to call December 25th. We're going to stamp this Jesus's birthday. And so that is that's what he did. So he would take off with that and run with it. They hijacked this holiday. So
you can talk as loud as you want, but you can't smack the table or else it cuts the mic out.
So that's how it all went with putting it as Jesus' birthday, because biblically we know, if you did read your Bible, which we read like everything, we know that biblically Jesus was not born in December. And
likely Jesus would have been born, depending on what time of year it is for the Jewish calendar, or however, because their calendar doesn't work like ours does. They have a lunar calendar. Mm-hmm. We have a solar calendar. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyway, we have the Roman calendar. Go figure, huh? The Romans. Right. The people that were an army, and they're the ones that put Jesus to death, and then all of a sudden the Catholic Church is supposed to be like the main church, and it's like, no. They were losing their country, and they were losing their rule over the world, and so they started to turn their king into the Pope, and they started their own religion. And you try to Google this stuff to find out the truth, and obviously Google hides everything. So it tells us the first Pope is Peter and that Jesus invented the Catholic Church. No, that's not true. And so what happened is about 500 AD is when the Catholic Church started. What happened is that they were killing not only the Norse people, the people that we would call pagans, heathens is what the Bible calls them, but they were also killing actual real Christians, real followers of Jesus. And so it's really funny when they tell you that Catholicism is Christianity. It's not. Catholicism and Christianity are two separate things. So what happened is that they started like slowing down on the murdering of people and started saying, well, maybe if we can just hijack their culture and turn it into our stuff, it'll be more easier for them to just convert. And so what they did was they stole Easter, they stole Christmas, they stole all the other holidays, and Halloween, Samhain. I covered that a little bit, but yeah, and they turned it into their own stuff. And Christmas is the major one because it's the birth of Jesus. But Jesus would have been born in the end of September or the beginning of October if you go by the Bible, because you can look in the course of Abijah. Abijah in the Old Testament is Abijah, Jah, and in the New Testament it's Abia because Greek, Hebrew, blah, blah, blah. But yes, you can find out that Jesus would have been likely born at the Feast of Tabernacles. So if you Google when is the Feast of Tabernacles and you want to be a real Christian and celebrate Jesus' birthday, even though the only thing he told you to remember was his death, burial, and resurrection, then go for it. But just make sure you celebrate it at the right time at the Feast of Tabernacles, not at Christmas.
And yes, Colleen, you're right. He was pretty much conceived probably around this time.
Yes, right. And that's one of the things that I can't believe that slipped my mind. That's one of the things that I used to love to tell people. Christmas is a pagan fertility holiday. Everything about Christmas is fertility. And so what we're actually celebrating is the conception of Jesus and not the birth of Jesus. Which
right. Right. Which is another subject is, the mistletoe.
But anyway, mistletoe.
Mistletoe.
I wanted a real kiss, so I got a pretend kiss. Good job, guys. You made me get a pretend kiss. Thank
you, Tawny.
But anyways, sorry. Did you show them your earrings?
I didn't. Our son Josiah, he's like really, really obsessed with nutcrackers. So today when we were shopping, I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get those earrings for the podcast because our son is like, he loves the nutcracker. He like seriously loves them. We're actually supposed to drive out all the way to Monroe because one of my friends out there, Lacey, she has a box full of nutcrackers that she's giving to us for him. So. And
I have a really nice, really expensive.
Vanilla, yes.
I have a really nice, expensive nutcracker, and it's on top of the fridge. And the kids are always like, "Dad, can we have that?" And I'm like, "No." This thing is stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll come back on in a minute. There it goes. Let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, one of the other things I was going to say is we've always believed what we believe about Christmas. We just used to handle it differently in a really mean way. Yeah. That's one thing. And then the other thing is that I don't remember what else I was going to say.
Hi, Troy.
I have a bad memory. Anyway, let's keep going. So the church had to keep their paganism. They had to integrate paganism so that they could convert people and give it a smoother conversion. So
after murdering some of them,
right? I mean, what better way to than to murder somebody and then have them join your family? Like somebody murders me and then becomes your new husband and the kid's new dad.
Yeah, and you murder them for something that you say you're against, and you go and steal everything that they do.
You murder them because of what they do,
right?
And then you steal it and then turn it into yours.
It's a modern witch hunt.
but again, this is Catholicism. This is not Christianity, because Christianity teaches that you should love your neighbor as yourself. Right. You should turn the other cheek. And they would go out and get murdered for trying to convert people by the same people that were murdering and then converting the pagans, the heathens.
Correct.
Let's see. You can compare many mythologies to Christians. For instance, Odin. Go ahead. You wanted to talk about Odin.
Odin was, it's kind of funny because you hear a lot of, some people say Odin was never a part of Christmas, but actually he was. He's always been a huge part of Yule. That's Odin's thing. A lot of people say actually Odin is Santa Claus. Also a keynote is a lot of people say Santa Claus did not exist, but yes, he actually did. There was a Santa Claus.
Saint Nicholas was an actual person. He was Indian, which... If you study,
definitely different too.
Well, maybe if modern day thinking Indians and white people are two completely different things. But if you go back to real history, like Robert Seffer shows, people from Iran, people from India, because the Caucasus Mountains, we're called Caucasians from the Caucasus Mountains. And where are the Caucasus Mountains? They're in India.
Right. Yeah.
And Iran, white people. That's why, I have a friend that's Iranian, and it's really funny because there's the two different sects of Islam. There's Shiite and Sunni, and the Sunni ones are supposed to be the bad ones. Well, this guy looks exactly like me. He's got fair skin, he's got brown hair, and he's a Sunni Muslim from Iran, but he looks white. Why? Because he's Iran.
Yes.
But anyway, so St. Nicholas was from India back in the days when there was white people living in India.
He really existed.
And he was a real, actual person. And that's where they got the name St. Nicholas. But the actual person that is represented, because the original Santa used to not be red and white. That's the Coca-Cola Santa. The real Santa used to have green and brown earth tone colors.
Yeah.
And it's still funny. You can still find, if you look really hard, you can find earth tone Santas at Walmart, at wherever, and you can buy an earth tone Santa.
Yep.
And it's the original Odin.
It's Odin. So, hi Kelsey. Thank you. So Odin, he would go through the night sky on his reindeer, which was called Sleipnir. Sleipnir had 8 legs. And so if you think about the reindeer of the modern Santa, that was 8 reindeers. Odin's Sleipnir, his reindeer was 8-legged, had 8 legs.
He was a horse.
Oh, horse, sorry.
So Sleipnir was an 8-legged horse, and they turned his 8 legs into 8 magical flying reindeer.
Right, yep, I'm sorry. So then he would go through the night skies, and what they did was hunting parties. So he wasn't just by himself; he had other men with him, and so they would go on these hunting parties. And
you forgot about the 9th reindeer. What about Rudolph?
Rudolph, no. So they would go through these hunting parties, and kids would leave hay and stockings for Sleipnir and the other horses that were with Odin's horse. So they would leave, and then they would leave the hay for Sleipnir, and Odin would leave a gift for them and the stockings for them.
Which is really funny because now we hang our stockings by the mantle with care in hopes that St. Nicholas will soon be there. Mm-hmm. And that's not actually what they used to do, is take their actual socks and put them outside with hay in them so that Sleipnir would have something to eat. And only if you had hay in the stocking, you got a present. Well, now we have our bratty kids nowadays. Not our bratty kids. Our kids are perfect, but your guys' bratty kids. We have people's bratty kids, and all they do is hang an empty stocking up, and then they get presents in it. Well, let's start sticking the stockings outside and putting hay in them again for Sleipnir.
Yeah. Or we could just, bring up the traditional of Krampus.
Yeah, and Krampus. If they're bad, they get a spanking.
Yeah, or they get taken away. Sheila says Gary is a Norse pagan. So he is, he's also an Odinist, right, Sheila? I believe you said. Ricky
Lynn says her kids are perfect. And I keep making faces at you, but, because Honey Bunny is talking and I don't want to interrupt her.
Anytime you want.
I'm not going to cut you off at what you're saying. That's important, just to say stuff to Tom. But Tom, it's awesome that you're here, buddy. Thanks for your input every time.
Odin wounded himself. He was wounded. He wounded himself by a spear, and he hung on a tree for 9 days. He hung himself for himself, coming back to life with knowledge from the 9 worlds. Sound familiar? If you think about Mary, she was told that she was miraculously going to have a baby who was Jesus, who would return to the earth to save the people. So you mix some of these things together, you get a lot of the same thing. But you have to remember that these beliefs were also pre-Christian, so they were before Christianity was around.
Yeah. So the importance of 9 is that Sleipnir's 8 legs turned into Santa's 8 reindeer, and then they added Rudolph. Rudolph is the only Hanukkah reindeer. Mm-hmm. And
yes, he was brought forth from Jewish people.
So he's the Hanukkah reindeer, and the other ones are all Christmas reindeers. But because we have to incorporate all religions and all beliefs, or else we're racist and mean and bigots and stuff.
No,
just kidding. We love all you guys.
We do. We do, but I do believe it's okay to have certain traditions as your own. That's certain cultures having their own traditions is a great thing. I think that you should keep traditions alive in your family. I really do.
As long as you don't go against what you believe by doing something that's wrong.
Right.
Anyway, so Rudolph is the 9th reindeer, which is why the number 9 is important. You have the 9 worlds that are from Yggdrasil. You have the 9 days that Odin hung on the world tree to get the runes. And so those are 9. Thor took 9 steps before killing the dragon. I mean, not the dragon, the serpent, mm-hmm. whatever. And so one of Loki's kids, we'll say. And so 9 is also an important number in Norse mythology, or whatever you want to call it, North heathenism or North paganism, whatever you want to call it. So anyways, yes. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to bang the plate. So, Yule
is a 12-day celebration. In Old Norse sounds like Yule, in Swedish, which sounds like wheel. The wheel marks the changing seasons, which is a very big thing for Norse people.
It's really funny because Adam Sandler's got the song where he's like, instead of 1 day of presents, we get 8 crazy nights. We get 12, buddy.
12.
But wait.
Who doesn't want 12 days of Christmas?
Why does that sound familiar? Why does 12 days of Yule sound familiar? On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
I just want
on the second day
of sleep.
I think it's funny that the song is 12 days of Christmas, but Christmas is only 1 day. So what could they be referring to?
Right.
The Wheel Day, Yule.
The Yuletide songs, guys. You got to pay attention to the Yuletide songs.
You'll catch on.
You'll catch on. What is that? The Christmas tree song. Oh, Christmas tree.
Oh, Christmas tree. How lovely are your feathers, or
so
whatever.
So the sun cross for the Norse people it was a very big deal for them. It was symbolic. It was the sun wheel is an ancient European symbol. Burning a sun wheel was a Yule tradition and one to start doing again. So
the sun wheel, the wheel of the year, is kind of like how a clock works, where it starts at 12, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then you start over again. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, that's how they mark their year, is by 8 celebrations with Yule being at the top, and then they would go, and it's really, really funny how the Roman calendar or the American calendar, it starts in January.
Yeah.
But that's funny because the Hebrew calendar starts in March and the Norse calendar starts in March.
Right.
This is the end. This is the end of the year, and then next is, I think it's actually February, but they were looking, this is the end of the wheel. And the beginning would be the next holiday, which I believe is Lunasa in February, right?
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, Why? Why? Well, because March is springtime, the time of new beginnings. Then summertime, the time of like your young part of your life. Then autumn, your adult life, and then winter, death, because everything dies.
Yeah, time to reflect on everything is at the wintertime when everything's dark and, you can actually get yourself together and reflect. And a lot of people think that wintertime is so terrible, and it's actually not. It's actually a good time. I love the wintertime, don't I?
Yes.
I love the snow. Like, I can't.
It doesn't help that your birthday is Christmas. But...
yeah, and my birthday is Christmas.
And my favorite time of the year is fall, and my birthday is fall.
Yeah. So to me, I love wintertime. I think I just like being home. I like being cozy with the family, the kids. I like Joel being home because in the wintertime he's home more. So, but anyways, tonight is the night. It's winter solstice. Tonight is the night that the Norse people they burn their sun wheels, which we will be doing tonight. But now, so we'll head into a little bit with Christmas too, because Mary gives birth to a son. In Norse tradition, Frigg is married to Odin and is the goddess of fertility, marriage, household, and motherhood. Frigg has her own power. She spins the wheel. We keep talking about this wheel of life because it's always been a major thing with the Norse people. So she spins the wheel of life, bringing in the new sun in the change of the season. The Yule wreath. The Yule wreath is a symbol of Frigg's wheel. So if you look at your wreaths, your Christmas wreaths that you get, those are actually the symbol of Frigg's wheel.
And the really funny thing is the Bible, the King James version of the Bible, that is, calls Jesus the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness in the Old Testament.
Which you need the sun to survive. So
it's funny because people will say, well, you go to church on Sunday because you're worshiping the sun. Well, yeah, you're right. If the Bible calls him the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness, then what's wrong with worshiping the sun?
Right. Yep.
What is the Bible say? Jesus is what? The light of the world? Well, what?
The light of the world.
When the sun goes down, what happens? It gets dark. And when the sun comes back up, what happens? It's the light of the world. Mm-hmm. That's weird. Right. But no, worshiping the sun is bad. Sundag. The day of the sun. Moondag.
Yes.
Oh, no, worshiping the moon is bad.
So also, Frigg is the mother of Balder. So we're going to get into Balder, which Joel's actually the expert on this one, and which will bring in why we celebrate or have the mistletoe.
So Balder was the son of Frigg, and it's funny because it's bad to have favorite kids, but Balder was her favorite.
Bright and shining star.
So what happened? I don't remember exactly what happened, but I believe Balder had a nightmare or a vision or whatever of himself dying. And so Odin went to Hela, to see where this vision was coming from. And he finds out while he's down there that it was from her. And she says, I'm going to take Balder. His name was Balder the Beautiful.
Yep, like Sheila just said, he was the most beautiful god.
Yes. So Balder... so Odin goes down there, finds out that it was from Hela, and she's saying, well, I'm going to take Balder and I'm going to make him mine. And so what happens is that Frigg freaks out, and she goes around the whole entire world and makes, what's the word I'm thinking of? She goes
to everyone and everything. When you say thing too, this isn't just like
everyone and
other
everything.
Humans or other gods or anything.
Like steel,
creatures, trees,
rocks, everything
that you could possibly go to talk to them.
And so she doesn't go to mistletoe.
She amends with all of them.
Yeah, she makes like I don't want to say the word contract, but she makes like an agreement with them that they won't kill Balder.
Yeah.
And so she goes to everything except for mistletoe because mistletoe is soft and gentle and it couldn't possibly kill him. So everybody, when they find out, they have this party and all the gods take turns throwing stuff at Balder. They throw knives at him and rocks and spears and all this stuff, and it just hits him and goes away, and it doesn't kill him. And they're like, oh man, this is crazy. Well, there was one of his brothers was a blind god. He couldn't see, and so he wasn't partaking, and Loki noticed it. So Loki went over to him and goes, "Don't you want to try to throw something?" And he goes, "I can't see. I won't be able to." And he goes, "Well, here, you just shoot this arrow at him, and I'll guide your hand, and I'll make sure that it hits him." And Loki put mistletoe on the arrow, and so it hits him and kills him, and that's why we use the mistletoe.
Mm-hmm. So she also just basically decided that she was going to love the mistletoe even no matter what happened to Balder, and they used it for good. Mistletoe is used for good, actually. There's in Norse traditions, they use it for a lot of things.
Medicinal,
right? Mistletoe, especially like I keep saying, the dark winters. It contains alkaloids in it. It has good things in the berries that are in the mistletoe, which help you during depression, because a lot of people get depressed this time of year.
Which we talked about in one of our other podcasts, because it's dark and it's cold and you make less money, and then you have to spend the little bit of money you make on your kids to make them happy and buy them PS5s and Xbox 460s and 1230s and whatever the newest, coolest thing is out.
Which, by the way, the Norse people weren't worried about, which is why they were happier.
Right.
Because they were celebrating, the true meanings of Yule, which was family, food, fun, cozy times and stuff like that. They weren't worried about, what next video game they were getting their kid. And I think that that's something that needs to be taught now. Honestly, we could fill our kids' stockings up with some candy and maybe some little toy, and they would be happy about that.
We have 8 kids, and 7 of them we buy presents for. And we got each one of them about 5 gifts, and maybe 2 of them were expensive gifts, but total money, we probably spent less than it would cost to buy a PS5, a second controller, and 3 or 4 games for one kid. And like one PS5 and some games and a controller, you're probably looking at over $1,000. So, and our kids are going to absolutely love every single present that they get, no matter what. And one of the things that we did was we shopped before Christmas time.
Yes, we did. We did like here and there things. Just whenever we had some extra money, and we went ahead and and did a little bit of extra stuff within those amount of time, so that way when this time of year came, we wouldn't have to be struggling or worrying about it. So mistletoe is used for medicinal properties. Its berries contain alkaloids, which are stimulating and make us feel good. Again, that is something that at this time of year was good for the Norse people, because again, really harsh winters. Hi, Alan.
You must be a mistletoe because you make me feel good and you stimulate me.
So the story with Balder is he is going to have a second coming.
None of them. All of our kids got awesome presents.
So Balder is going, he was the second coming. He is supposed to be coming back, which again this was before, this was pre-Christian time, so it goes in line with Jesus, who is supposed to return again.
Yeah, Balder comes back during Ragnarok.
Yes.
And then he actually is alive again after Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm. So yes, the mistletoe is also for, they believe it was used for fertility, which, come on now. Who doesn't love fertility?
Right.
We have 8 kids, so
practicing fertility is fun.
Gotta populate the earth. So they were big on, that was one of the things that they were big on, was the mistletoe. They were big on fertility. And mind you, this was not the way that people say that it is. You'll have people say they were, dancing around trees naked and orgies and all that kind of stuff, and that's not what it was.
The reason that we said 7 out of 8 is because one's an adult.
Yeah, right. She's an adult. She does kind of her own thing, so she doesn't.
She still gets presents from us, but it's not like toys and stuff. She's an adult. Money. She goes to work and has a car and stuff. So
we're the boring ones now for her.
She got me sausage and cheese and crackers for Christmas last year. A dad gift.
Then they go for me, which is funny because I am a metalhead and I love classic rock, so they go and get me stuff from like Hot Topic and Spencer's and stuff like that, cool shirts and stuff like that.
And I have a little 1-minute long video coming, since I'm probably off punishment from Facebook now on my regular page. but I still can't go live for 30 days, so all of our videos are going to be from Odin's page. Thank you, Odin, for allowing us to borrow your page. But
I also cannot go live yet. I don't even know when I can go back on.
I don't know who Odin Valhalla could be, but he let us borrow his page.
I don't know.
But anyway, so I'm gonna post the video that I made. You guys are not boring. Thanks.
Thanks, Alan.
But yeah, I'm gonna post my little 1 minute long video about Metallica that I made with Babe. But you can only hear her in it. You don't see her. She was doing dishes, and I was like, "Babe, make a video with me."
Yeah, he tried to say Metallica was not that good
Don't
before.
ruin the video.
And so anyways, I said, well, that's because you're not listening. You're listening to like the main songs that you always hear all the time. You haven't heard their other stuff, the good stuff. So
I know all the Metallica songs.
He knows all the Metallica songs. So anyways, back to, also, before we move on before anything else, mistletoe, for all the mamas out there who are having a hard time getting pregnant, with infertility, I know that happens a lot. Mistletoe berries are also very, very, very good for, fertility. So if you are, someone who is, you have issues with, getting pregnant, then, those berries are supposed to be very good for utility.
The thing that should not be. What is that? I'm confused.
The thing that should not be. So with...
I think he's saying that practicing fertility is not boring.
Oh, definitely not boring.
Maybe, I don't know. Tom, enlighten us on what you're talking about, bud.
I think that should not be.
Because I don't know. I think
I'll let him throw it out there.
I think somebody said that these have a delay, the comments.
Yeah. So with Christians, they have Mary, who was a virgin. With Europeans, they openly celebrate fertility. Oh, it's always like a big
Metallica song.
Yes, Metallica. That's why I said I'll let him throw it out there. Europeans, they openly celebrate fertility, which means they're excited. They love babies. They want everybody to know they love babies. They want lots of them. The colors for Christmas.
They probably told you that mistletoe was... So I'll eat some mistletoe after getting my COVID vaccine. Oh my God, don't do that. But Sheila, the reason that they probably told you that mistletoe was poisonous is because it makes you horny, I guess. Well, they didn't want you to be like that when you were younger.
It's
either
not
that or
poisonous.
Because
a lot of people
I'm guessing they probably had
that.
fake mistletoe. And they were probably like, don't eat the mistletoe, it's fake and you'll die.
Or they were eating something that was not mistletoe.
Right.
And they were mistaking it for mistletoe, because mistletoe is not, it's not poisonous.
Those are mom and dad shrooms, don't eat them.
I mean, you never know these days, though. Someone spraying that GMO shit stuff, on your garden and stuff, and anything that you're growing could be poisonous.
Oh, nice.
So,
I like GMOs. Genetically modified organisms. Nothing like modifying your genes.
You don't get the third eye from the pineal gland. You get it from the food. Like Cyclops.
You might be a boy and not have a pineal gland if you have genetically modified organisms.
So the colors, Christmas, that are like the big colors, like red and green and gold and white. Red, for Europeans, represented blood from a woman's menstrual and birth. Those were big issues for the European people. They, like I said, fertility was a big thing.
Red means stop, boys and girls.
Stop. Green was growth and nature. Europeans are big nature people. They don't sit around and do nothing all day. They're out. They're out, moving about. And then gold represents the sun and the light giver, which again was a huge thing for the Norse people, with warmth. And then we have white, which represents snow
and jisms.
Semen, which was those colors. So.
White represents the color of your babies before they go into your wife.
So then we also have the Yule log.
Smoke some Christmas trees, boys
Kelsey
and girls.
Said gross. So then you got the Yule log, the tree, the feast, the gifts, the traditions that were all pre-Christmas traditions that were huge things. And still even Christians celebrate those things too.
When you make a Yule log and you put it on your kitchen table, make sure you put something under it.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way.
Yes. Tom says I was going to say something dirty. because we keep screaming into it.
You can, Tom. We're all adults here.
Right, we're all adults. This is an 18-plus page here. But yes, when you make your Yule log and you put plastic and stuff on it and you burn it, make sure you have something under it, because the plastic will burn to your table. It won't catch your table on fire. It'll just stick to your table forever.
Just stick there forever.
How long's that been stuck to our table? 3 years.
Yeah. You can also make a Yule log if you have. What you can do is people use the ashes. They put it in their gardens and stuff like that for symbolic, helping the garden grow better, for their blessings, for their gardens to be good. Also, we had what is it? The outside warmer thing. What was that? The burner. Yeah, the burner outside.
A wood boiler. Outdoor wood boiler.
We also took our Yule log, and that thing burned for quite a long time in there, which is a good thing too. The smoke, all that is good for just for your blessings and everything coming from the Yule log that you asked, which with Yule logs, people believed in blessings, and asking for certain things at this point in time to be, when we say fertile too, we don't just mean like becoming fertile, like pregnant or having kids. This was like, for Europeans, it meant
money, growth for your farm, abundance, or birth for your animals, different stuff, things that were going to make you through next winter, food, trees, all that stuff, corn, beer.
Tom says the only thing a period stops is a sentence.
Which is not even necessarily true anymore, because kids are getting their periods at 10. But it is a funny sentiment.
Scary, but yes. So then we had, in the cold days, plants and trees. They were usually, a lot of the plants and trees, they die during the winter time. So spruce, evergreens, pines, holly, mistletoe, ivy, all those were ones that stuck around during the harsh winters.
So here's a fun one. I wanted to tell you guys about this because it's funny, because I was talking to some guys Saturday, I think, and I was telling them, I said, the problem with Christianity is that most people are raised in one sect of Christianity, like Lutheranism, Baptist, Methodist, whatever. So what they learn in the Bible is what they are taught at church. They don't actually take into account what they think it means. So basically, one of my friends, Eric, the one I was talking about before, he's the one that does the water systems and stuff. And that offer is still available. If you guys want a water system, he'll do it for you.
It's great, too.
Yes, we love it. But one of the things that he always says is, if you got lost on a desert island with just a Bible and you forgot everything you learned, like if you got into a plane crash or whatever and you had just the Bible and you, what would you believe? And obviously this is coming from a Christian standpoint. Well, it's really funny because this is translated to be something different than what it says, and it's about the Christmas tree. That's what I believe. So what people will say is, oh, that's talking about a Baal pole and blah, 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 and everything like that. Well, just put aside everything that you've learned at church, okay? Put all that aside and listen to this for what it says, okay? Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They cut down a tree, they bring it into the house, they deck it with silver and gold, and they nail it upright so that it doesn't move. I mean, what more does that sound like? Right. Anytime I see, like, what are those things that the native people use with the poles? Totem poles, yeah. Totem poles. Every time I see something like that, it's always outside.
Mm-hmm. Which is also with the Europeans. They did, their trees were left outside also. They, which was what we were getting to, was the Vikings, every 9 years, they had the the sacred sacrifice to the gods, which were they sacrificed animals and hung them from a tree, which is also where you get your red bulbs.
Yeah, but that was some trees. They would cut down a tree still and bring it into the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because this is what it's saying. They cut down the tree, and it's actually kind of funny because when we would go to church and we would tell people like, hey, Christmas is pagan, don't celebrate it, they'd say, do you have plants in your house? Do you have dishes with coloring on them? Right. And it's like, it was naturally known as a pagan thing to have plants in your house. Mm-hmm. Because they were the ones that were worried about nature. Again,
another very touchy subject.
So anyways, that one's funny. This one is hilarious. You guys ready for this one? I'm going to read you guys a verse.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Let me find it real quick. But if you want to look that up, it's Jeremiah 10, 1 through 4, if you want to look it up.
Usually what you think of when you hear, even if you're not, and you don't read the Bible and stuff, if you were to read that, the first thing probably that would go through your mind is Christmas tree.
Right.
Hey,
cut down a tree.
Christmas tree.
and what does the thing say? Deck the halls with all balls of folly. La 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 la. They deck it with silver and with gold. That's weird. I talk about that passage, not to cut a tree, bringing into the house and decorate with silver and gold. Mm-hmm. It's the truth.
It's a Christmas tree.
That's exactly what it is. We're trying to tell people, like, hey, you're not allowed to. But here's the thing. See,
Sheila, we already knew you were a heathen.
This is the thing, though.
Word of the Lord.
This is the thing, though, is that the church we used to go to, like I said, we used to take turns preaching, and it would be my turn every quarter of a year or whatever. Well, we moved up here to out into God's country, and our church was down like 3 hours away, and so it was my turn to preach the week before we moved and the week after we moved. And so I went and preached my last time after we moved here, and I told my wife, I said, I'm going to talk about Jeremiah 10, and I'm going to make everybody feel stupid for what they believe. And she goes, no, you're not. And I said, yeah, I am. And she goes, I dare you to. So I went in there, and it says, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them, for the customs of the people are vain. Well, we used to tell people, we were mean to people. We were like, Christmas is pagan, you're not a real Christian, you're going to hell, blah, 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 it's a sin, blah, blah, blah. So the church we went to, it was at houses. It was different houses. Like each person would have it at their house or whatever. And so it wasn't like your normal service. Like if I were to read something wrong, somebody would interrupt and say, whoa, you read that wrong. So I go, learn not the way of the heathen. So I said, for the custom of the people are a sin. And the main guy that would like jump all over people at Christmas time goes, whoa, brother, that's not what that says. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, for the custom of the people are a sin. And he goes, no, it says they're vain. And I said, oh, that's funny. We've been telling people it's a sin all this time. What does vain mean? Oh, vain just means that there's no reason to do it.
It's pointless.
So what God's saying is if you're one of his people, cutting down a tree and bringing it into the house is pointless. There's no reason to do it. But if you're celebrating Yule, there is a reason to do it. Mm-hmm. So it's not a sin. It's not bad if you're a Christian and you celebrate Christmas. We're not, and that's one of the main things that we try to get people to understand is even though we take a different approach to Christmas, we're not telling you that it's wrong for you to do. We're just telling you it's not a Christian holiday and it's not Jesus' birthday.
Right. And getting into biblical, when did you think that Jesus was actually born?
I already said it.
Like
the end of September.
Okay.
The beginning of October, depending on the
time.
Some
people actually think he was born around Halloween, which is funny because that's like supposed to be one of the major like the devil's holidays. So a lot of people say, I think he was born around Halloween, which actually no one really knows the exact date. But if you look at the Bible and you see the timing of their harvesting and their tax season, it was in September, October-ish. So
I can't find that verse. There's a Bible verse, and it's funny because Santa always says ho, 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 and he's from the North Pole. And there's a Bible verse that says, ho, ho, flee the sides of the north. And so we used to always joke around about that one, too. So there's the Christmas tree, and then God saying, "Ho ho, flee the sides in the north." Yeah. So every 9 years, the red bulbs that you hang on your Christmas tree. Yep.
The sacrifices, every 9 years the Vikings did sacrifice, so they would sacrifice animals and hang them on the trees. So
we can hit on this.
Which again is colors for your bulbs. The red bulbs that you hang on your tree are symbolic of what the Vikings used to do every 9 years. And so then we also go to let's see, the
right here. Thor had a chariot with 2 goats.
Yes, Thor had a chariot with 2 goats. And if you think about the reindeers, Donner and Blitzen, Donner and Blitzen are Donner means thunder in German, and Blitzen means lightning in English. So that's kind of funny if you think about
Thor being the god of thunder.
Thor is the god of thunder.
God of thunder.
Donner and Blitzen, they took that from the Norse beliefs and used it for the Christmas beliefs. So.
Yep. And Santa's Odin. Odin Claus.
Santa is Odin.
The church called Santa Satan.
Yes, the church calls Santa Satan. They say that his name is, it's spelled that way, but it actually means Satan. The Norse Elfheim is the home of the elves, which is also another thing that the Norse believe is the elves. In which the, where do they live? They live in Elfheim.
Elfheim, yeah.
Elfheim.
So, Alan, yes, Nimrod was supposed to have been born on December 25th, and he was supposed to be born of a virgin.
Yes.
Yeah, that is one of the... And he is in the Bible, Nimrod, I think. Isn't he?
Yes.
And from him came Tubal-Cain, but we'll get into the Tubal-Cain later. Yeah. Gary's doing cartwheels.
Tell Gary we'll actually do a lot on like frost giants, the ice giants, and stuff like that for Norse because we all know that giants did exist.
And giant trees,
the mountains,
Yggdrasil.
Yes, the giant trees.
Jack and the Beanstalk. Think about that.
So Europeans had deities for all kinds of things. To Europeans, the sun is the savior of the world. That's what the Norse believe, that the sun is the savior of the world. It's what keeps them alive.
The light of the world is Jesus. Come to the light, 'tis shining for thee. Yeah. See? Now you know. Now you know why it was easy for them to adapt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's what they believe that the sun was, which is why they worshipped the sun, because they believed that's the savior. It kept them alive. It kept them warm. That's what kept them going. We are tied to the Earth's cycles, which affect us eternally and externally. You guys got to notice on certain days your bodies feel a lot different. When the moon is out, you are definitely feeling different. Or
like today when the planets are intersecting.
Yes, today when the planets are intersecting. I don't know about you guys. I'm actually more energetic today than anything. Like just bouncing off the walls, which is not really... near this time of hour, I'm like ready for bed. I'm like ready to crash. But so bouncing off the walls today for me. Then we talked about the solstice, which is the shortest day, the longest night. But from here on out, after tonight, it's gonna start getting lighter earlier, and it's gonna start getting, little by little, it's gonna start staying lighter longer. So you guys, don't give up. The dark winter will be over soon. We haven't really had a really brutal winter.
No, we haven't.
Yet.
It's been raining more than snowing, and we wanted to do pictures, and we can't.
Yep. I'm kind of little bummed about that because I really wanted a big snow. So
right.
maybe we'll get it though. Sometimes we don't get a really big winter till like February when it's almost spring. Then all of a sudden we'll get this big huge winter. So even days of the week come from the Norse.
Zechariah 2:6. That's it.
So even the days of the week come from the Norse Europeans. They're
the
named
Sundog
after,
and the Moondog?
Yes.
And Kiersdog?
Are named after the gods. So all those days, our days of the week come from the Norse pagan people.
Yeah. Sunday. Mm-hmm. Moondog, Monday. Kiersdog, Tears Day. or Tuesday. Tyr or two is what he was called. Woden's dog, Wednesday. Thor's dog, Thursday. Freya's dog, Friday. And Saturn's dog, Saturn's day.
Yeah.
But
calendars, hey, even the calendar, everything's just came from pagan names, pagan people.
Yeah, that's what it says. Zechariah 2:6. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord.
Alan said, did anyone see the Christmas star tonight? No, we didn't. And actually, this guy that I follow, he has a druid page. And,
that was the planets
Star
intersecting.
Star of Bethlehem is what it's called, which happens, like, I don't know, it's a lot of years. And I actually was asking my husband about this with, there was one page that said it was, like, happened, like, every 4,000 years. I don't know where people get the number from exactly.
They say, oh, well, I'm 70 and I've never seen it, so it must be every 4,000 years.
Either way, people have not seen it during this lifetime. So, no, we did not see it. I'm kind of bummed about that because I did want to see that also. And this guy that I follow, he has a druid page. And he was trying to get it to where he could show people, and he couldn't get it either. The clouds were covering it and everything, so no.
Sheila said she saw it down in Georgia.
You did? Ah.
Post pictures, or else it didn't happen.
Right. Right. So, you guys, I just, like I said, I want to make it clear that traditions of Christmas were never about money. Those big daddy bucks places. It's never about that. It was never supposed to be about that. I was always happy at Christmas time because I never did put the materials in it. I say, reject the fake copy of Christmas and stop worrying about, these big corporations wanting your money, because it was never about that. A lot of people, like I said, they get really stressed out this time of year. How are they going to pay their bills and do Christmas for their kids? And you got to stop worrying about that stuff. It's especially this year. This year's been really hard on everybody. It's been hard on everybody. So just don't worry about those things. Don't worry about the material things. Love. I actually I like the Iceland's way of celebrating. I'm a big book person and a chocoholic. So what they do in Iceland is they give books, and it's a lot of used books. And Iceland sells a lot of books per capita. They're like the biggest place that sells the most books ever. So I really like what they do. They give away books on Christmas Eve, and they eat chocolate all night, and they read their books. So for me, Christmas is easy because I'm not trying to spend a bunch of money. Corporations came in, way years after the traditions were there. So reject that. Reject that copy of Christmas.
Go back to family. Make it about family again. Spend time together. Piss off for the governor. Spend time with your family. Love on them. Do things that are cheap and fun. Make cookies. Make cake. Make Yule logs. Make a sun wheel. Mm-hmm. Sun wheels are really hard to make.
Yeah, they're not easy.
But they're free to make. You just go outside and find some sticks that are bendy, and you put them together and make a circle. Mm-hmm. It's a circle with a cross in the middle. It represents the wheel of the year. And of course, never mind, I'm not even going to say it. Because some people probably don't even know.
Yeah, and, start, even if you don't have traditions or you don't know a lot of your family or ancestor traditions, start new ones. Kids like traditions. They really do. They love traditions. They like when you bake cookies with them. They like when, you just do different things with them. They like that. So just start new traditions if you don't have one. If you know your family, you know your ancestral line, a lot about, or you can go back and look and see what they did, what was going on with their families, because honestly, it was like the best way to live. And I know, like I said, this year has been really hard, but in a way, I really think it kind of brought us to where we can see that there's a lot of things that we didn't need. We haven't always needed. Right. It's just there for, the luxury to have it. But I think what this year has taught us that there's so much stuff that we don't need.
We had 2 cars at the beginning of this year. One was a payment and one was free and clear. The one that was free and clear broke down, and then the one with payments broke down. And guess what? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars now, and they're all free and clear.
All free and clear.
One's a 94. One's our bus, and you you don't need all that stuff. What the heck is the purpose of it?
Sam says, you mean Santa's elves
Right.
make... No, they don't. I mean,
No,
not the elves that come here.
He says Santa's elves don't make iPhones
right,
and Nikes.
Right, yeah, no, they don't.
The little people that make iPhones and Nikes, they're probably about the same size as elves, and they probably make about the same much money that elves made to make our iPhones and our
Right.
Nikes for us.
Yep.
Just so you guys know, I got one shoe on. I couldn't find my other shoe.
I have socks on. I was gonna wear my heels, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're not gonna see my feet. So why am I doing this? But yeah, so enjoy the time with your family. Like I said, this year has been pretty crazy, and like I said, bringing it more into view that we get to see that there's so much things that we just did not need that we had, and we didn't need it, and it's just showing you more that this is even more of a time to bring back the traditions of the old Christmas Yule ways.
And our ancestors were traditionalists, like my honey bunny said, but they weren't what people think they were.
They weren't.
It's funny because they say Vikings invented hairstyles. Well, like Vikings, right? The people that were going around killing people and stealing from them. They invented hairstyles.
Right.
They said that they were the original people to take showers every day or take baths every day, I guess. It wouldn't technically be a shower unless they were under a waterfall or something. But don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. But yeah, they were about cleanliness. They were about looking nice. They were about doing their hair and all that stuff. They weren't sacrificing babies and eating shrooms or anything like that.
They weren't drinking blood and having orgies like our enemies say they were. This is something that they would make up and lie. Like I said, it's like a witch hunt for people that were traditionalists, and they were not doing those kinds of things.
How do you murder people and then turn around and invent Christmas?
Right. Yeah, so they were nothing like that. They were traditionalists. This is why I think it was easier a lot of the time for Catholic churches to kind of just
TLC reference, 90s kid. I'm an 80s baby. So is Honey Bunny.
Yeah. So it was. I think that was what made it easier, a lot easier too, for Christian churches or Catholic churches to just pounce on these people, because they weren't the people that the Catholics would say they are.
Right, and the Catholics were the Roman army that turned into a religion. So just imagine, you watch all these movies about the Roman army and like the Greek Titans and all this stuff. Like, this is exactly what it was. And imagine if King Leonidas became the first pope and this is Sparta, and he invented some religion and was like, oh yeah, well, we're just gonna start like going around and killing people. That's exactly what happened with the Romans. The Romans were like the America of their time, we'll say.
Right.
Now America is the one that goes around and bullies people, but we'll save that for another day.
Yeah. So I think that's what made it easier, is that the Catholics took advantage of that. They knew that these people were not blood drinkers. They weren't murderers and stuff. And I think that's why they were able to so easily just go after these people and brutally murder them and steal their, hijacked it on out of there and stole their traditions.
Now, always remember, too, that whoever the winner is of the war gets to dictate what history was. And so when you go and you kill all these people and you burn all their literature because it's against your God, it kind of just wipes out what they really actually believed, and the winner gets to dictate history. So the Anglo-Saxons got to choose what history said, and it's the same with anything else. And the sad thing is you can. There's a lot of people that can use that like detrimentally towards us, like natives. Well, history says that we were all friendly with natives, and they were like these weird off the wall people that were like savages and stuff, and we came here and civilized them. Well, they turn around and say, no, white people were the savages and we were already civilized. We invented the peace pipe and stuff. And it's like, the problem is that natives believe that because they were raised and told stories by their families. What we believe is because that's what we learned in school, because the winner dictates history. In Hawaii, white people were called Haleys, which meant smelly one, because of wearing heavy coats in the hot sun. That's funny. I can imagine they
You
come
can
over
imagine like how the berserkers
Yeah.
might have smelled after they did their again traditions. So imagine wearing that all day.
Yeah, the berserkers, they're called berserkers because they would put on bear skins and they would like flip out and start like murdering people.
Raging.
Yeah,
Like,
they'd rage.
raging.
Yeah.
Actually, like becoming the animal that they were wearing.
Which is cool because I have a that deer antler knife that I got at Cabela's. I got a $200 knife at Cabela's for free, and it's made out of real deer antler. That's a tongue twister. Real deer antler.
I would want to wear a bear. I'm pretty sure those would be pretty heavy, though.
That'd be cool to be a bear.
Yeah, imagine walking around in a bear outfit all day and raging.
Imagine
Sounds
doing
kinda
it in
fun.
Hawaii. Like, imagine being Dog the Bounty Hunter and wearing a bear coat.
Yeah, and just run around and oh man, that would be really awesome to put on a bear costume and then put your playlist on, which would be obviously
Bum bum
metal.
bum bum dun 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 dun.
metal, classic rock. We like Led Zeppelin. We like a lot of different music.
Zeppelin's not good music to kill people to, though.
Sure it is.
I mean, Ramble On maybe is, but like, you can't play Stairway to Heaven while you're trying to murder people.
Any kind of music. People murder people with classical music.
But I will admit, just for my sweetie pie, I will admit that it would be easy to go to war and kill people to give me fuel, give me fire, give me that much.
All right, guys.
I
well,
cut the microphone out this time.
we're gonna watch a good movie with the kids. Drink some hot cocoa, eat some popcorn. I know like European people are really, really healthy. That's like the biggest thing for the European culture is
I'm healthy.
working out, healthy, that kind of stuff, which is what they did. I mean, you gotta look at the Vikings. It's kind of funny because I have to say this. It's kind of funny because I see a lot of pages of these guys that are like they call themselves Vikings and
they're
Europeans
fat and stupid
and they're
looking.
just like you're like
Seek and destroy.
I don't think so. That's yeah. And it kind of like you're like, oh yeah, cool. I'm gonna go check out this page, and you go look at it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's like.
There's nothing more offsetting, we'll say, or whatever you want to call it, like whatever, like discouraging than joining some Viking page and all the guys are like fat, dorky, like they played Viking video games and now all of a sudden, or watched
They're
Vikings
Vikings
on
now.
TV and now they're a Viking.
And they have no idea of the history whatsoever. Like you're like looking at this page and you're like, what are you talking about?
And then the women
Creeping death.
look just like the men.
Yeah. You
Hi, honey. I'm a Viking. I'm a Valkyrie. It's like, no, God, you're hella. It's half beautiful and half ugly. You're just completely ugly.
Merry Christmas, Alan, and Merry Christmas, Sheila. We love you too.
Merry Christmas, Sam and Tom and everybody that comes on all the time every week and says stuff.
Yes, happy holidays, happy Yule, glad Yule, whatever you guys celebrate. Again, we
What are
don't
the
want to
two
pick
guys-
at anything that you guys celebrate. It's all in how you do it. What you do with your family is just, it's really up to you.
Merry Christmas to
Merry Christmas, Sam.
Merry Christmas, Sam. Merry Christmas to Ryan, because I know you're out there watching. Ryan Hendricks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then Merry Christmas to Brad Bennett, because I know he's out there creeping too.
Hi, Brad.
Brad, we live in Michigan too, so I know that you're excited about murdering people that don't wear masks. But
Brad's quite entertaining.
we literally live like an hour and a half from you. You said you live in Mount Pleasant. I've actually been to Mount Pleasant a few times for work. So we live about an hour and a half away from each other. I would hope that we wouldn't murder each other when we see each other, because I'm not wearing a mask and you are. But Merry Christmas, buddy.
Yes.
And
Ryan. We
Yeah.
got Ryan and we got Brad. Who else do we have? We had another guy too for a minute there. Kenny.
Kenny, yeah.
Kenny was he was on here too.
And I don't think he's gone, because our page likes didn't go down at all, except for that one guy. Though it went down one time with the guy with Kenny.
Those guys like us.
But yeah.
That's why they stick around.
Merry Christmas to Kenny,
All you guys.
Cheddar Bob, as we call him.
Cheddar Bob.
So we love you guys. We hope you keep coming on here. You make it really fun and lively. Merry Christmas to Eric Thoreau. I think that's how you say it. It looks French enough. Eric Thoreau, who I steal memes from, or memes, or whatever you call them. Who else? Who else is on our page all the time? Sheila.
Rolly.
Yeah, Roland, yes. Merry Christmas to Roland. It's the way of the road, bud.
It's the way of the road.
It's the way she goes. Who else?
We have Ricky Lynn.
Yep.
He's always on.
Yep.
Kelsey. Kelsey
Corbin
has been messaging me, and Kelsey has been asking, saying that me and her should get together for our own video, and we will have to do that as soon as we figure out how we can do this patchwork. I've looked into the things that you've been asking about also, so I have been paying attention to what you're talking to me about. So we will do that. We'll have a girls show.
Merry Christmas to Corbin and Tom. I think we said Tom 12 times already.
Hi, Corbin.
Who else? Your brother's in Texas, Corbin, in case you didn't know. Who else? Steven. See? I just said Steven.
Yeah.
Steven's in Texas.
Hi, Steven. Yep. So, Merry Christmas. Have a good night. Enjoy this winter solstice. If you're not going to bed early, spend some time outside, actually. Even if it's a little bit chilly, it's fun.
He said Steven's there with him.
Oh, okay.
That's
cool.
funny.
Cool. So, yeah, spend some time outside. I mean, it's really not bad, trust me. Even if it's a little chilly, it's nice. That fresh, cold air is always nice. And even though we're not really getting snow, you can, like, smell it. I feel like I can smell it.
Corbin can't. He's in Texas. It probably just smells like hotness there.
Corbin needs to come back to Michigan. What's in Texas? You don't get all the seasons in Texas. It's boring.
It's summer and then summerer.
Yeah, summer and summer.
And he was wearing a hoodie the other day and saying it was cold. I was laughing.
Oh my gosh, he's one of those. I would die down there. Serious. I would die down there for real.
He says, no, it's beautiful here. You did have a hoodie on the other day, and you posted on Facebook that it was cold.
I do believe it's beautiful now.
Yeah, 45. See, that's not cold.
Oh, 45 is not that bad.
45, I'd still be walking around in my boxers and a tank top.
Heck yeah, 45 is nothing. It can get down to 0, and I'd still be wearing just a shirt outside and some little shorts or something.
Always remember that I roofed during the polar vortex in just a hoodie.
Oh gosh, I hate that word.
It was like they were telling people, don't go outside or you're going to die, and I was out there roofing with a hoodie on.
Was it just me, or were they like constantly saying polar vortex last winter? It was like,
no,
they never just called it winter.
It was like 2 winters ago.
Oh, was it?
Because that's when I was roofing at Hanson's.
Oh, yeah, because that's right before I was pregnant with Juno.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were like constantly
vortex.
saying that, and it's like, it's winter?
I think the polar vortex is why you end up getting pregnant with Juno.
Yeah, we were stuck in the house a lot, and it was nice, though.
I
told you I love winter.
I was pulling her vortex.
Anyways, yeah, so being stuck in the house is not really a bad thing if you get along with your
thanks, Corbin,
your spouse.
I'll send you an outfit just like this. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, thank you, Corbin. All right, guys.
All right, yeah, we're out of here. We're dragging on too long. If you missed it, if you're just joining Corbin and Steven, go back and watch it when we upload it, which will be in about 5 minutes. And everybody have a happy Christmas and a good Yule, and we'll see you next Monday.
And reject the modern Christmas.
And fight the power.
Fight the power.